Morning, community group leaders. Um, Thank you for taking the time to catch up on just the meeting that we had this past Sunday. Unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties, so as a result, you guys get an abbreviated run through of our PowerPoint presentation that we had, and just kind of some general things to move through of some changes, and just furthering the great work that everyone's doing here at Grace Baptist Church. So I'll be running through this PowerPoint just to kind of get everyone up to speed. And if you have any questions, let me know. We did have some great questions the other day. So hopefully I'll be able to hit on some of those things as well. But if you have anything further, please reach out. I definitely want to be a resource to everyone. So the teacher inside of me, I love agendas. So first we're going to run through that. I'm going to just give a quick introduction of myself, go through our mission and values, our group structure, sessions and goals, resources, save the dates, and then what's next. So I'm going to jump right in. My goal is 5 minutes per slide to have gotten everyone out in 30 minutes, and hopefully we'll be even quicker than that. Because just the straight awkwardness of talking to a camera versus talking to a group full of people. So a little bit about me, of who I am. So my name is Greg Reed. I'm the Director of Ministry Administration. I just started in this role recently. As you can see in the picture, it's my wife, Tori, our kids, Josiah, Gideon, and Judson's down there in the corner. We've been coming to Grace here for about 5 years now. We moved from Denver and went to a church called Providence Bible Church out there. And kind of some quick backing up here of at least my education since college. I graduated from CSU with an emphasis in health and physical education. So went to go be a phys ed teacher, and eventually ended up out in Colorado shortly after I graduated, and was a phys ed teacher and athletic director at a school system called DSST, which is a charter network, and just got to learn a lot about administration, working with diverse populations there, that looking back can even see how that has prepared me for even my current position here at Grace. I think that's what's always really cool about my story, is just, and probably so many other people's stories, is to be able to look back at your life and be like, oh, God has like uniquely put this situation or this person in my life to prepare me for what's happening right here in front of me now. And so it's pretty cool to see that happen. And back at our old church, Providence Bible Church, our community groups were just the nucleus of the church. And we were in an urban setting, so we would meet weekly, multiple times within a week, and really just did life together. And we kind of followed someone called Jeff Vanderstelt, and he has a book called Saturate, and really just about missional community groups. And I think with a lot of the feedback I've gotten from people here at Grace, and even just leadership wise, I think there's some great opportunities for our current Grace groups, as we'll get into the terminology here and some of the things that are changing there, can really emulate that missional aspect. And that's something that I know Tori and I learned a lot about, and just doing life with people. And I'm excited about what that looks like here at Grace. Fast forward from there to moving here 5 years ago. I was a director at the YMCA, the Glow YMCA here in Batavia and in Medina. And you'll definitely see some of that come out in my administration here, just around sessions and things like that, and just the programmatic side of things. As much as we want to make ministry organic, a lot of it is programmatic, just to kind of help bring structure to things. So that'll kind of be just a background about me, and kind of maybe how you see things unfold in front of me. But excited to get to link arms with each and every one of you as leaders, and hopefully bring some great development as well, and to be able to help out Pastor Jeff and Pastor Zach however I can, as well as the rest of the team with Miss Martha and Cindy. So next up was our mission and values. Making more and better followers of Jesus is obviously our overall mission. And I think a lot of times when we think about community groups or groups, we instantly think of life is better connected. And so even in the background there, you have our icon for that. And I think that that's really what we think a lot about with community groups, which is so true. But I also feel like these groups really set us up to serve those other values within our church setting of everyone has the next step. We are doing life with people, and so hopefully encouraging each other to take those next steps and can walk alongside each other in that. Save people, serve people. The goal is that hopefully we're serving with our grace groups or just any of our community groups to really just be able to do that together. I know for our group, we still talk about a time where we put together a fundraising pancake breakfast and how awesome that was and how much that drew us closer together instead of just meeting on our regular weeks of really getting to do life and to do something. We obviously get a lot of built up and feeding during those times, but really to be able to pour it out to, even if it's just our church congregation or if it's something in the community. So that's definitely a goal of ours. Rescue people. Again, that missional mindset that hopefully we're all trying to pursue of, obviously we want people to come to grace, but how are we building relationships with people within our groups, or as CG leaders, how are we preparing our people to be able to present the gospel in a really tangible way, that as people are talking about relationships they have with others, how are we building people, discipling people in a way that they know how to share their faith and rescue people as a result of that. We give because he gave. Obviously, this is more than just monetary. Obviously, that's kind of instantly where we go, but of our time, our energy, our efforts, groups are a commitment. And so, but it's worth it because he gave so much more. And so that little bit of time and hopefully that development of each and every person and their next steps, we're giving time, and then maybe even speaking into our finances, because a lot of times that can reflect where our heart is at. So it's a little bit about how community groups really, or just groups in general, really kind of make our mission work of making more and better followers of Jesus. Our group structure. So I know Pastor Jeff talked about this a little bit at the end of the service last week. And so I just kind of want to dive into that. You may have also received an email last Friday from the church, just kind of giving little snippets about this and getting people to start utilizing our church center webpage for Grace Baptist Church. So we kind of have it broken up into 3 groups of Gather, Grow, and Grace groups. I'm a big fan of alliteration, so that's kind of where we ended up here. Gather groups, as you can see on there, it's more seasonal or one-time opportunities to gather together for casual time together. So for an example of this, Stacy Malone is doing a great hiking group. So bringing people together on a Monday morning, more informal, but during those walks and hikes, hopefully having some, I know her goal is to have some conversation around the sermon on Sunday. And so if you like hiking and you have a friend that's likes hiking, but they don't go to Grace, you can invite them into that. So this can kind of be, gather groups can kind of be an opportunity of someone's first step outside of Grace to come into a group in a smaller setting and then find out more of what Grace is about. Women of Grace is a great opportunity for that. Men's Breakfast is another great example of a gather group that's on occasion that we're able to do that and bring people in. It's a gathering time. Men's Breakfast, it's around really good food. And that then we're kind of learning more about that as we go. Pastor Jeff's workout group in the morning for men, that's another great example of a gather group of people coming together, working on their physical strength, but obviously building relationships with each other in the process of grunting and doing all the things that they do. And so this is really an opportunity too, that we can bring some leadership development to people. And I'll kind of get a little bit more into that after I explain Grow groups. Grow groups is mostly like kind of that discipleship and curriculum-based or Bible-based instruction. So great examples of this would be a healing journey, a grief share, a women's Bible study, Pastor Jeff's Discovered Grace class, where these are ones where we're diving into something specific. and learning and growing in it. But hopefully you're not taking Grief Share or taking the healing journey 4 or 5 years in a row. Hopefully it's a seasonal thing, or you're not doing the Discover Grace multiple times. You're doing it once to learn a little bit more about grace, and then hopefully going into something else, whether that's leading a grow group or leading a gather group or moving into a grace group. So these first two are kind of ones that hopefully people aren't staying in for a lifetime. The goal is for them to either, again, move them into a leadership role, maybe someone that's attending the healing journey class. At the end of that, they want to lead a gather group around something that they're really passionate about and really enjoy, whether it's disc golf or gardening or whatever the case might be. Something that's going to engage people, bring people together, find community. I think that that's so much what people are looking for right now, is just trying to figure out where do I fit in. And so I think sometimes an additional way that people can bond together is a great way for that. Or for example, if you attend the healing journey class or grief share class, that maybe, and it's something that's really affected someone in that group, that maybe we're developing them to be future leaders and co-leaders, to do that. So if that is something that you're really passionate about, maybe it is a lifelong, or maybe you are in there for multiple years, but you're transitioning to a leadership setting. So that's a little bit about gather and grow groups. And then grace groups is more of what our community groups have been. We're just putting a different name on it to keep those G alliterations alive there. But kind of think of a grace group as like a mini grace church, for the lack of a better term there, in that you kind of have your own system of really just holding each other accountable. Something that we're looking to do is kind of make more regular times together, but kind of at the end there of that you meet together for Christ-centered discussion and prayer, but also find yourself sharing meals together, caring for one another in times of need, serving together in your local neighborhoods, and developing genuine friendships with the members of your group. So really, you're just doing life together. It's not just a Bible study that you're doing, and not to say that our grow groups don't have great communities, because I know they do. But this is just kind of taking that next step, in terms of really being committed and accepting accountability, and also telling people that we're going to speak into their lives in love and truth, and just really making sure that we continue to grow as believers individually. And that happens when we're joining together in these smaller groups on a regular basis, and really focusing too on that serving in local neighborhoods. It's been kind of cool, however, or over the last couple of months since I've been here, is seeing how naturally people are already starting to form other groups within their areas. And not that groups have to be regional, but it is really great. For example, Churchville Chili, there's a group of people now that are starting a group up in Monroe County, whereas we now have groups in Genesee, Orleans, Wyoming, and Monroe counties. And so a goal for our grace groups over the course of the year, this all isn't going to happen tomorrow, but some things that we'd love to see kind of morph and happen is, maybe I'll use the Churchville Chili group for an example. You have Carrie Cobanius in that group, who is a teacher at a local elementary school in Chili. That is someone that is networked into an area in that community, that she's kind of your network person of finding out, okay, how can this community or this grace group encourage and serve the local elementary school in Chili? Can we help out with parent-teacher conferences? Can we do our own little mini family fun day? Can we, as a group, see if they need any mentoring or just times where kids can be read to? Can the local after-school YMCA program use some special Lego robotics groups or something like that you can get involved in? The sky's the limit. It's just really thinking, okay, who as a group are we going to serve in our community to shed light? And then when people ask who we are, we say we're a community group of Grace Baptist Church, and then that gets people moving in those, like, oh, I didn't even know that, or whatever, and what are you guys about, and lends itself to just opportunities to being hands and feet of Jesus in our communities, in these own little pockets, which is a little bit different with us being a rural, spread out community. But I think that that's really where those groups can shine bright. So that's a little bit about group structures and how they have changed a little bit. I'm doing good. I'm on 7 of 10 and I'm only 15 minutes in. So we're looking good here. Sessions and goals. So again, goals. These are not have tos. This is kind of where we're hoping to go. So I just want to preface that in any of these things, if your group is like firing on all cylinders, I know especially the grow groups, you kind of already have set time frames or what you've already been doing for the last few years. So a lot of this is opportunities that as new people come in or new groups form, that they can adopt this and move with it. In our meeting, I use Brandon Rickey as an example too. Of they're really involved in Kid Zone and they help serve in that. So the every other week model has worked out really well. Whereas now we're looking to move towards seasonal sessions to where we have a concentrated group of time, most likely 8 weeks with 1 or 2 weeks off during the session, that we're meeting weekly. Again, if you're a group, I know the Fawcett group has also said, like, we do really well every other week, works well with people's schedules and being out of town. Like, we don't need to rock the boat on things. I just know I shared in the meeting too that my group, we struggled with the every other week, like September, October. Yes, we are totally on board. Once we would hit like Thanksgiving, Christmas, bill season, like all of a sudden everyone's schedules are just really spotty. You would meet maybe once a month because that Sunday fell on a holiday or whatever the case might be. And then just trying to get back into that rhythm in January was really hard. Because people were kind of already out of rhythm. So really trying to build a seasonal rhythm for each person to kind of jump into that. So what we're looking to do is what I'm looking at is likely trimesters to do. I know I said I'm looking for feedback, but I think the more and more I think about it, it makes sense to do trimesters instead of cramming 3 sessions in from January to June. So we would do a fall session, which would be September 17th to November 12th. We would take that Sunday or that week off of trunk or treat, just so that way as a community group, we know, hey, we're going to be all in on this church event. That's probably one of our biggest outreach events of letting people know this is where Grace Baptist Church is. It's a fun way to get engaged with the community and with each other. And so we would take that week off because we're going to be serving that week together. But then we would get right back into it the last couple of weeks there. And so again, having that focus time of saying, this is what we're going to do together. And also what this is hopefully doing for a few different things of what this is really helping us with is, one, easier onboarding for new members. I don't know if you guys have noticed lately, we've definitely had a lot of new members, baptisms, salvations. It's been really exciting. But the hardest thing things that I've noticed is those people aren't really getting plugged in. They're being here on a Sunday morning. They're serving. I've seen a lot of them serving faithfully, but we're not really getting them into a community group and getting them plugged in a local community and finding that. And I think a lot of times it's because we've had a community group and we launch them in fall and then that's it. We don't really hear anything about it. But with us doing this to where we have one in the fall, we'll start promoting again in the winter time or like shortly after Christmas, New Year's time, and start again January 7th and push through January, February until March 3rd. Have another breakthrough March, Easter season, all that stuff. Then pick back up again for a spring session from April until the beginning of June, peppered in with different weeks that are off because of other events and things like that. And so this gives the opportunity to onboard people. Another great example is Discover Grace. Pastor Jeff will have a class here in the fall. Then all those people, a lot of times he has 12 to 20 people in that class. Where are they going to go after that? Where are they going to find community? This would be a great opportunity to say, all right, you finish the class in November, kind of talk around or kind of we'll start pushing and letting people know what groups are available. then they can figure it out. And then January, once the new session comes in, they walk right in. Of course, groups can always welcome people whenever they want, but it makes that easy opportunity where we can promote, make people aware of what groups are out there. I know some groups, we're full, we're over and beyond full, and we need to multiply our groups. And that's also a great thing about these seasonal sessions, is that I would really challenge each and every one of us, myself included, to reflect on my group and think, who is my Timothy? Who am I discipling? Who am I mentoring to be a new community or grace group or grow group or gather group leader? And how can I help get them into that? And maybe someone is really shy about, like, I could never do what you do leading the grace group. Maybe say, is there an area that you're really excited about, or like it's easy for you to talk about it? Do you want to do a gather group, or do you want to do a grow group? Maybe you're really into finances and we want to do like a financial peace university class. Maybe you could encourage that person. That's your next step, something you can talk about. And then once they discover, oh, I can lead a small group of people. And I was talking about God's word, even though it was coupled with finances. All right, maybe I could do a grace group next year or next fall or next spring session. So I think these are different opportunities that hopefully we can start working people into that, because I think we will be surprised at how many groups really are, or how many people still don't have groups that want to get involved. And so I would definitely encourage us to just think a little bit differently about that, really think about grace groups as an opportunity to push people in a good way, in truth and love, and to be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, and hopefully bringing in those new people so that they are getting connected, and things of that nature. So that's the goal, is that we're transitioning to weekly meetings for grace groups. Again, this is not mandatory. A couple of people shared in their group how they have a great rhythm with their group. If that's a great rhythm for your group, keep it, like, by all means. Again, this is an opportunity that as we're bringing on new people, or if we're saying, this just hasn't been, every other week just has not been working for us, this is a great opportunity to say, well, this is how we're doing it moving forward. So that's probably going to be the piece that I'm going to have the most questions on. I know we had some great dialogue as a group. Again, I'm definitely available to help with any of those things. I know it might feel a little bit clunky if that's the way we're moving into it, but I'm excited about some of these different changes that we might be able to implement. And again, that consistency of community. Going back to my example for my group, it's hard to find community with people when you're only seeing them once a month, and meeting together once a month, once a Bills game happens or anything like that. Childcare obviously is always going to be an issue for some groups. And so Sunday nights is a great opportunity for that. If you're looking to switch to Sunday nights because you're like, we do have some people in our group that have had a struggle with that, you can utilize Kids Zone. And that's from 6 to 7:30 every Sunday night. And we will be making the seasonal sessions revolve around that. We're partnering or working more with Pastor Zach and Miss Martha to really make sure that kind of in our schedule of our sessions, that if Kids Zone isn't happening, then likely a community group won't be meeting, because that childcare piece is really important. And the thing that I love about that is it's more than childcare. It's not just having someone babysit your kids. While you are getting poured into and you're pouring into others, the same thing is happening for your kiddo or student between those couple of ministries. That's what I love about all of this, is that we're really feeding everyone and giving everyone an opportunity to learn and grow. Resources. This primarily has to do with our grace groups, but not necessarily. Could be a grow group as well. If there's a specific study that someone's just, again, looking to kind of get their feet wet, to kind of have more like an ABF style, this is another opportunity too. I know we've had multiple members asking, hey, can we still do something after church that's weekly, that is more along the ABF style? For those of you that might be newer, ABF was Adult Bible Fellowship pre-pandemic. that we kind of used to have as like a Sunday school hour. And so if you're even interested in doing that, or again, pointing someone to say, hey, maybe this is something you can do. You could start a grow group that is doing a specific study in this. Grow groups are more short term. So maybe someone in your group says, I really want to do a study on First Peter, and there's one on Right Now Media, and they just want to walk through that for the winter session right after church in one of our classrooms. We could definitely do that. I'm sure people would be more than interested in getting involved with things like that. So again, it opens up a lot of opportunities. So again, Right Now Media is a great resource for book studies. So much content between specific books of the Bible, studying on a 6 to 8 week study or more. Also, they have a lot on parenting, just anything around Christian living. The options are endless with that. If you need access to that, Cindy is the person to contact, because she can help you get access to that. Dwell is another thing as well that we have access to. It's audio recording. This is more of next steps, being fed, feeding yourself in the process. Bible Project is another great one. I know our group did that. We walked through the book of Philippians, and they just do a great job of breaking things down. Bible Project videos are also available in Right Now Media. Sermon questions is another thing that I brought up to a group in our group on Sunday, and a lot of people seemed interested in that. We have opportunities that I can work with our pastors to see if we can develop 5 to 10 questions on reflecting about that passage, and then 5 to 10 questions on kind of more of the application or reflection piece on how that might be hitting you a little bit differently and what that might mean for people's next steps. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And if you're stuck, there's my contact information as well for email. Email works pretty well for me. And hopefully I can get back to you on that stuff. I'm slowing. I took too long on that session one. Save the dates. So this next one is coming up really fast with our new Huddle Up series. Basically, the next 3 Sundays, we're going to be breaking down 2 components of our mission and values each week. So this upcoming Sunday, we're doing our mission, and then also everyone has a next step. The following week, we're going to be doing Life is Better Connected and Save People, Serve People. So as a result, we're doing a groups and ministry showcase as a part of our actual time together during service. Pastor Jeff will finish, or actually it'll be Pastor Zach will finish 10 to 15 minutes early. And instead of people leaving, we're basically going to say, we are moving the service upstairs to the activity center, where you as leaders, and we'll also have ministry leaders as well, whether it's sound ministry, greeting ministry, all those things, to just kind of showcase opportunities that people have to taking their next steps to gain connected with people, and also to serve as well. So what I need from everyone is basically for you to know what you will be studying. That's kind of the biggest piece of the puzzle. Also, we don't really plan on having any like donuts or anything like that. We might have some coffee up there, but if you want to have some treats at your table to kind of pull people in, and think of kind of like a career fair, having candy or tchotchkes. I don't think you need to bring on any tchotchkes, but if you want to have baked goods or a bowl of candy or something like that to kind of pull people in, it's mainly just being able to connect people. That I know in years past, we've had the pieces of paper for people to sign up out in the lobby, which has been great. I think what'll be great, and us taking a next step in getting people plugged in, is having a name with a face. If you are full, and I know some groups were already full, were already closed, it would still be great if you could be there. And even just we'll still have a sheet of paper for you, for people to sign up just for interest, to know that we have this many people. It'll just be a good gauge for us all to know, like, wow, all of our groups are full and we still have 50 people that want to join. Or we might be shocked and say, oh, everyone's set. People are where it's at. So we can definitely let people know this group's full, this is when they meet. If this is what would work best for you, that's great to know. So that way we know, okay, this person really wants to connect with people that are in the middle of parenting older adults, or that are married, or that are single, or whatever the case is. This just gives us a good framework to know this is what the needs are right now. So kind of consider it as signing up slash kind of gathering data so that we can kind of move forward on that. So that's Sunday, September 17th. If you're not able to make it as a group leader, please, maybe this is an opportunity to grab that Timothy to kind of pull in and have them come join and lead the table instead. It shouldn't be long. Again, 10 to 15 minutes, where basically I'll probably have Pastor Jeff or Pastor Zach kind of dismiss leaders first to kind of go up to get situated. And then everyone else will kind of be coming in and filtering in to kind of make some connections there. So that's Sunday, September 17th, which we're really excited about, just doing something a little bit different with that. Sunday, October 15th is a leadership development with Newt Larson. Pastor Jeff has been getting kind of discipled, mentored by someone just in the transition with he and Pastor Shirk. And he's just been a great influence. And so he's going to be here actually all weekend working with different leadership teams, and I'm preaching that Sunday as well. And he has a 30 to 45 minute session on 10 habits of a healthy leader. And so we really, really want to have all community group leaders, especially we're inviting all volunteers to attend it. So all the more that we would love to have community group leaders, or just group leaders, I should say, all there to just be able to learn more about how we can continue to develop as leaders. And do expect that I'm hoping that once every month or every other month we have some opportunities to be developed as leaders and to have some input on that. And if you have suggestions or ideas or areas where you're like, oh, I could really use help with this as a leader, please reach out. I would be happy to try to think through how we can make that happen and make that work really well for you as a leader. Oh no, I'm at 31 minutes. Sorry. What's next? Planning center integration is a big thing. So another project of mine right now is getting us integrated, as you've already possibly seen, of integrating us to use Planning Center. There's going to be a new app development as well, to where everyone will be able to access our groups, and a lot of what's already in our system. Planning Center basically is a church management system. And so we're hoping to just utilize that for more of what it's actually worth. There's great resources, already great integration. Basically, everyone in our church is already in the system. It's just getting people to access it and then use it for schedules, communication on the app. You can do all of those things. If you have a PDF file or a video you want your group to watch, you can just drag it right in there and it'll automatically send it out to people, and then they can follow it and they can read it before their class or do whatever is needed. So there's a lot of great helps in that. If you don't want to use that, that's totally fine. Just want to provide the opportunity, and again, have a one-stop shop for anyone that's new to Grace, to make it more friendly for people, that if they don't know how things have always been done, that people are able to figure out, oh, this is what this is. So we'll be slowly integrating that, and that's probably what some of our trainings will even be for you guys to help me on the administrative side of things. I've already had several people ask, after looking at the listings of different groups, to give me edits for your description. If there's something specific that you want to say about your group, whether it's the content that you're going to be studying. I know John Morrill just sent me that stuff this morning of like, hey, this is what we're studying. I threw a trailer link in, all that stuff. We can build it to make it really easy for people to know, oh, okay, this is what's happening. If you want me to add specific people to your group, I can certainly do that as well. Or you can take the initiative and get after it if you're like the Fawcett's and they added all their groups in there, which was awesome. Thank you. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities there, and you can just email it to to that email that's listed, greg.reed@gracebatavia.org. And again, thank you for your willingness and leadership, as it is absolutely essential to doing what we're doing here at Grace. And I'm excited to continue that work together. And just want to challenge you guys to keep up the great work. Relationships are not always clean. They are messy. And if you have any questions of like things that are happening in your group or just don't know how to deal with certain things, please reach out to me. As I said in our meeting, if it's too hard for me, I'll just ask Pastor Jeff then, and we can kind of go from there. But again, thank you. Sorry for going 4 minutes over, but I trust that you guys will have just a great week, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you on September 17th at the Groups and Ministry Showcase. Thanks so much and have a great day.